Alert: UN makes horrifying move against Trump, they went too far. At the tail end of the former administration, former President Obama signed one global compact with the UN that could have devastating consequences, and it is scheduled to go into effect in just a few months. At the first Summit for Refugees and Migrants in September 2016, the UN General Assembly voted to implement the New York Declaration for Refugees and Migrants in 2018, which would develop a global compact for safe, orderly and regular migration. However, in doing so, the agreement undermines immigration laws and national sovereignty over immigration for all countries involved. As the compact's implementation nears, it's time to revisit what the implications are of the agreement heralded by the former president. The compact was designed to protect refugees and migrants, as well as develop further solutions for what was regarded as a humanitarian crisis. The UN stated that the compact would set out a range of principles, commitments and understandings among member states regarding international migration in all its dimensions, and deal with all aspects of international migration, including the humanitarian, developmental, human rights-related and other aspects of migration. In paragraph 33 of the compact, the UN will consider reviewing policies that criminalize cross-border movements, and will pursue alternatives to detention while these assessments are underway. This would directly override U.S. immigration law, removing the threat of criminal consequences that deter illegal entry, as well as the capture and detention policies that allow the U.S. to deport criminal illegal immigrants. Removing or restricting these measures, these deterrents to illegal entry, will encourage more illegal entry. In paragraph 57, the UN states that it will pay particular attention to the application of minimum labor standards for migrant workers regardless of their status. This stands wildly inconsistent with the immigration and employment laws in the U.S. that make it illegal to hire unauthorized illegal immigrants. If the UN implements migrant worker standards that supersede U.S. law, there will be nothing to prevent illegal immigrants from claiming jobs without authorization or consequence. Paragraph 58 of the pact is said to encourage the re-entry of migrants who do not have permission to stay, preferably on a voluntary basis, taking into account national legislation in line with international law. Whereas U.S. immigration officials have authority to remove illegal immigrants, this pact grants illegal immigrants the privilege of voluntarily departing and returning. This isn't the first time the UN has tried to circumvent U.S. laws with unelected bureaucrats in some far-flung place telling Americans and American companies what they can and can't do. The Obama administration lobbied hard for the passage of the Law of Sea Treaty, LOST, in 2012, which was rejected by the Senate. The LOST would have taken money from U.S. naval and drilling companies and redistributed to whoever the International Seabed Authority, an unelected UN body, saw fit to give it to. The measure would have cost U.S. businesses billions, and possibly even trillions, in taxes and fees, in addition to the great loss of sovereignty and rights of Americans with no recourse. U.S. courts would have been overruled by European courts. The Obama administration also tried to force the Convention on Rights of Persons with Disabilities, CRPD, Treaty on the American People, which would do nothing to help people with disabilities. The treaty ended up being another sovereignty grab by the UN. Because of the ADA, the U.S. is already a world leader for protecting people with disabilities. There's no reason for the U.S. to sign such a treaty that gives up so much of its sovereignty when it's already the gold standard in protecting people with disabilities. Fortunately, the Senate also rejected this measure in 2012. As paragraph 49 of the Global Compact promises, the UN is promising to commit to strengthening global governance of migration. This should have been a huge red flag to President Obama as he agreed to grant more authorities to the dangerously progressive leftist UN. America cannot give up its sovereignty and the rights of citizens. These power-grabbing treaties are designed to weaken the U.S. and its laws, violate the Constitution, redistribute wealth, all while strengthening enemies. Maybe it is time for the U.S. to leave the UN and its anti-American practices once and for all. Thank you for watching this video. What do you think about this? Share this on Facebook and Twitter along with your comments.